We are in here.
All
Hi,
right.
everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Good Love Tuesday.
Welcome.
How's everyone doing? Get in here. Get in here.
Welcome. Welcome.
I hope everybody has made their tacos. Tacos. I didn't do tacos today. I tried to do like a low carb pesto chicken dish that I
Oh.
stuffed
Oh.
in my mouth before coming onto here.
Yeah. Um, definitely did not have tacos today. I'm doing a cleanse, so which
Hmm.
is not bad because you still eat. Like
Yeah,
you're not suffering.
right.
So but
Nothing wrong with the cleanse. Just eating, you're
yeah.
eating just like clean foods and stuff.
Yeah, yesterday was all fruits, and
Okay.
then today I'm gonna share to my page. Um, and then today was all veggies. Like, so you can eat
Oh,
raw, you can eat, steamed, cooked, whatever. So yeah, not suffering.
okay. Yeah, no one
Just
needs
a
to
nice
suffer.
kind of kickoff.
Hey, could y'all do us a favor and share the link and just let everyone know that we are live now? Share it with everyone, all of your friends, family, loved ones, even your enemies. They might need to hear this.
Okay. I shared it on my page. Let me see if I can share it on, uh, yeah, share it on My Lady Lessons. Hmm. So yeah, welcome. I don't know who that. Okay, yes, it's my hello, mother. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome. Um, if y'all could do us a favor and share to your pages, invite others, put in the comment section and all that good stuff. That would be amazing.
Yes, y'all share so we can have this discussion. We're going to give y'all a little bit of time to hop in here.
Yes, absolutely.
I hope everyone's 2022 is going well. I keep forgetting that it's 2022. Like I'm still stuck in 2021. I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're not there anymore."
I know. It's kind of like, I'm still almost getting used to not saying 2020.
Yeah.
And it's like it still feels a little weird to say 2022. So, but
Yes,
we are here.
we
We're
are.
here.
We are
Yes.
here. Yeah, it's crazy. I've been like it's this winter in DC is like a real winter and it's annoying the hell out of me.
Oh, really?
It's
Y'all been getting some weather?
we've been getting snow. Like usually since I've been here, well, I've been here for 5 years. Every winter is like maybe it snows like maybe one time. It snowed at least 3 times already. It's gonna snow again on Thursday. It's gonna snow
Uh-huh.
again on Saturday. I was like, okay, I got to get out of here. I need to book a trip somewhere because this is killing me. Ain't no melanin in my skin no more. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I ain't got my little tan.
Listen, honestly, in Chicago, we've had comparatively a mild winter. We're used to
Uh,
getting punched.
y'all
But
winters are brutal. That's why I don't visit.
yeah. So we've been really blessed. We've been definitely blessed this winter. So
That's
yeah.
good. That's very
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Okay, I'm like, I just posted on Instagram, which is attached to Facebook, letting everyone hop on now. Letting people get in here.
Yeah.
A few more folks that popped in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming in, spending your Tuesday evening with us.
Yes. Yes, feel free to please share if you don't mind, share and invite others in the comments um and let them know that we're about to get into this discussion. We're
Yeah.
about to get into the discussion.
Okay. Can't believe, payday has already passed. Like, it's just, this year's already passing really by really fast. Like, it's January. It's about to be February. Y'all got y'all's Valentine Day boo. You got your booze all set up to get you your V-Day gift. You notice men disappear around that time. All of a sudden, they just extra busy.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Extra busy. Like, oh, all of a sudden, I'm too busy. I got to go out of town. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, y'all.
Oh,
So let's go ahead and get started. So today's discussion, we are going to talk about why women are now deciding not to get married and have children. In today's time frame. And this is something that's very common. I've talked to a few girlfriends and even just bypassing discussions where women are making the cautious decision on staying single, or they're doing like the lifelong partnership, or they're getting married and not having kids and just they're deciding that they want to stay as a single parents and not have children. I mean, I
mhm,
kind of understand that because it's like kids are a lot, but we're going to tap into the why behind everything and just kind of like what has shifted and what has changed. Why are women deciding? Now, some of these are just statistics and just, based on what we think or what we believe are our personal experiences and views. So don't take this as like, these are all facts. This is some of it's facts, some of it's statistics, and some of it's just a discussion that we're having. Please,
mhm,
in the comments, you guys put your opinions on what your view about this subject is, and let's keep this discussion going. So,
mhm.
sis, you are in your 40s and
Yes,
you are currently not married and you
right,
do not have children. But to
right.
my understanding, you're not saying that this is something you want permanent. This is just your current status.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
it
so,
is.
what is your thoughts on women who decide, you know what, I don't want to be married or have children. I'm good with what it is. What is your thoughts about that?
I mean, I think that just the world we live in, a lot of, when women do make that choice, I think it's because the world is different for women now in terms of there's a lot more options. There's in terms of what you can do with your life. As opposed to back in the day it was the set expectation was that if you went to school at all,
Mhm.
that you pretty much would be focused on being a wife and a mother. um on the other side of that, I think that there's women that have chosen that, but I think that there's a large segment of women that basically chose it by default. Like
Mhm.
it's not that that's necessarily what they desired, or desire even now, but it's kind of like I don't have control over the aspect of meeting that the man that I think is perfect for me, and even the having children part, especially if you want a situation where you are married and you're having children together as opposed to be a single parent situation. Then by default some women make the choice not to be married and not to have kids, and it's not necessarily their first option, but that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, they are, it's one of those kind of protecting your feelings from getting hurt, or
Yeah.
like a protective mechanism where I don't need to get married to have kids anyway. I kind of went through that phase when I went through my engagement, when I my broke up when my engagement ended.
Hmm.
Um it was more so of a protective thing where I started to be like, I don't need to, I don't want to get married or have kids. Like I'm good where I'm at. And I now know after going through therapy and healing that that is not at all what I really truly desired. But that was
Mhm.
more so something that was a protective mechanism for me to avoid, thinking about what if I don't get married, what if I don't have kids, and how it
Yes,
would, whatever.
yes.
But now I feel like I'm at a place that I'm at peace and I'm happy. So whoever I marry, that needs to continue. And then if we want to have children, we'll have children. If not, I'm okay with that as well. I'm just not, the pressure is not on me, and but it is like a requirement. Like if we're dating and we're in a relationship, the requirement is you do need to desire to want to be married, and I do need to have the choice of having children or not. So if it's someone
Mhm.
who's like, "Oh, I don't want any more kids, or I don't want to be married, then we don't need to date.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah. So I read that the Office of National Statistics, let me pull my little, I wish I had my glasses on. The Office of National Statistics show that single, no kids is rising in every age under 70. And it's from
Mm.
2005 to 2018. The ages 40 through 70 rose by 500,000, which the percentage doubled for women who's
Oh,
choosing to not have children and be married. In the percentage doubled for women in their 40s. So women are like cautiously are making this decision. So
mhm,
a few of the things that I listed that could be the why behind it.
mhm,
So as far as marriage, I do think the how people view marriage as being sacred, I think that is getting watered down. I think that they think it's just a piece of paper. They don't understand the spirituality in unifying as one with God. A lot of people look at it as that's not real, or they
mhm.
can do that as a partnership with their own. But why do they need to get married under the government? So a lot of conspiracy theory type things where it's like, oh, the government's trying to force us to do it for tax reasons and da 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 da. And so they're just deciding to be rebels and not be married because they want to go opposite of what the government has told them and what the tradition is in America.
Mm,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
what are your thoughts about that? Because I've heard this where people are like, I'm not getting married on purpose. This is a government thing. It's just on paper. It's not this and that. And they're not looking at it as a spiritual thing.
Is that from what you've experienced, is that mainly men or women, or is it a equal,
I think I
mindset?
mainly hear that from men, to be honest with you. I don't really hear that too much from women. I mainly, yeah, men are just like, it's just a piece of paper. And it's just like, are you just trying to keep your genitals free of guilt? Because these are men who like have parents probably married for 40 years and they talk about, oh, I don't understand why we need to do it. Oh, okay, brother. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Context is everything. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Hey y'all, welcome in. I see the numbers are growing. Sis and I are discussing why women are deciding not to be married and not have children in today's time. And this percentage is increasing and growing while women are just like, I don't feel the need to do it. Especially, I feel like, especially people who've been married before, they're like, I don't want to do it again. Like, I'm good on
Mhm.
doing it again. And I don't want to have any more children or have any children at all. I wonder if it's part of just maybe hurt or if it's like really a cautious decision.
I really do believe that is a major factor. I
Mm,
believe that, especially if whatever you went through in the past, if your hopes were dashed, when
mhm,
it's for the ones that have been married before, or even in serious relationships that they thought was going to lead to marriage, um,
mhm,
and something traumatic happened, i.e. the breakup, it it can really cause you to go into that self-protective survival mode, and you
Mhm.
even start to convince yourself that that's not what you want anymore, when the reality is it's still is a lack of healing in that moment. Now there's some people that from jump they've always been adverse
Yeah.
to, marriage and kids or whatever. But I will say that I think the majority of people that at one time said they wanted it and now say they don't is due to some type of traumatic experience. So,
Mhm. Do
yeah.
you sis, did you go through that phase when you went through that divorce where you just like just maybe a period of time where you were like, I don't think I want to do this again. I think I'm good on it. Like what?
Mm, I did not go through that in terms of marriage. I always knew that I wanted to be married.
Mhm.
So it was unfortunate that that ended, but
Yeah.
I did go through that with the having kids part.
Mhm.
And I think just because, as you continue to mature, and you continue to, and even experience things with your friends' kids or your nieces and nephews, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's one of those things that the longer you don't have your driver's license, the
Mhm.
longer you don't drive, the longer you don't drive on the freeway, okay?
Mhm.
You start to, from the outside looking in, you wonder, is that something I can do? I see all these other people doing it, but can I? I don't know. I haven't been doing it,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I did have the question mark about the having kids, but I never changed my desire for actually being married to the right man.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, the right man. That's with a capital R.
Mhm. Right.
So, another reason why women are avoiding getting married is that this divorce status is very high. So a lot of people aren't staying married. So they're just
Mhm.
like, well, it's a huge percentage that I could not, just won't be till the end. So they don't really want to alter their life for that. Um,
Mhm.
we already talked about this. The sacred part of marriage is kind of watered down at this point, where people aren't having God in the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Um, are men not proposing to women? Um, so the men not marrying women part, I think that goes hand in hand with the women saying, "I don't need to be married or have children."
I
You know
think
what
you
I
are
mean?
right.
Yeah. Because I think that the requirement, the men are just like, well, there's a ton of women who aren't requiring me to get married, so I ain't gonna be proposing. You have the long-term girlfriends. I am seeing on like Instagram all the time on social media these women getting pregnant, and they're like, "I'm pregnant," and ain't no husband, not even boyfriend, just like I'm about to be a mother. And I'll be like, I would be. That's not necessary, and I know it happens. So I feel like it's happening
Yeah.
very often where you're creating families, but there's no united front. There's no husband and wife. It's just they're skipping all the steps and having kids, especially with the younger generation. Like you got Kylie Jenner about to have her second baby with the Travis Scott boy. The baby got a bunch of kids with a bunch of folks. Future got a bunch of baby mamas all over the place. It's just like, like just popping out kids, and
Yeah.
they're not feeling the necessity of, okay, in order for me to do this, I want a husband. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I think that it goes back to that. I say it all the time. Don't lie to yourself. Be
Right.
honest with yourself. And I just speak for the women. I think that sometimes we as women lie to ourselves in terms of our desires in relationships,
Mhm.
because it's like you don't want to come off as pressuring, you don't want to come off as needy or dependent, it
Mhm.
even dependent on wanting and desiring love and commitment,
Right.
and there's nothing wrong with that. But in this society, we downplay it so much, where it's kind of seen as weak if you say, no, I want and need my man. You know,
Mhm.
I want and desire commitment, and for a man to the right man for me to actually choose and pursue me and take it all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think again we get into the protection mode of trying to save face, the pride, and then and it may be a reaction to if a man is not locking you down,
Mhm.
then
You're
you're
like,
like, okay, well,
"Hey."
that's not a big deal as long as we're tight, as long as I will know. But how tight are you if he knows that that's what you want? But sometimes women downplay what they want because
Right.
they don't want to come off as uh pressuring or needy, so
Mhm. I remember this movie. It was with Jennifer. It was, I think he's just not that into you or something, with Jennifer Aniston and Ben
and Ben
Affleck.
Affleck, that's one of my
Yes,
favorite movies.
yes. I remember she was with him and she desired to be married. And he would not marry her. He was doing everything. He was this great guy. She's like, he's this great guy, but he won't marry me. So then they break up. And then she's going through the single life. I think one of her parents gets sick and he's the only one there like helping her clean up. So she looked at
Yeah.
that and she was like, okay, I just want him in my life. So I'm just going to just put behind the fact that he doesn't want to get married because I just want him. So she
Mhm.
kind of settled, but then because he loved her and he knew that's what she desired, he proposed to her at the end where he, wanted to
Yeah.
give her what she desired. And I feel like um, most men probably don't want to be married.
Uh-huh.
I feel like they are scared, or if a woman says I'm cool with it, they are absolutely going to go with that. But if a woman tells him, "Look, these are the requirements for me. If you want to have me for a lifelong, or have me in your life, or if you want to have children with me, we got to be married." And if he says, "Well, I don't want to do it," okay, well then we're not meant to be together. You know, I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
necessarily.
some women say that.
Yeah.
Some and then others stay
Hmm.
hoping that he'll change his mind. And
Hmm.
some of it, I mean, I've even been given that bad advice. And I recognize it as bad advice that a man is telling you up front, listen, like in my case, men, when you get into my age range, a lot of men already have children. And some
Hmm.
of them, their children are already teenagers or grown. So
Right.
there's that aspect of if they're looking at me like, oh, she don't have none. Well, how are you feeling about that? Do you not
Yeah.
do
Right.
you
Why
do
you
you
on
not?
pause, brother?
Right,
I
exactly.
zero to your five.
Yes, and it's like I think that it's one of those things where I was told when I was kind of, dealing with someone that like, why are you all focusing on that right now? Because we were having the upfront conversations,
Hmm.
that's going to happen, if it, and if you end up, getting pregnant, then it is what it is. He's, even though he's telling me that he doesn't want any more kids, my thing is that we should listen to each other and
Hmm.
make our decisions based on what a person is saying, not what you think or hope that they're going to change in the future, or because now you're setting yourself up.
Right.
I.e., I just thought about, and I really don't watch the Ratchet TV like this, but I happened to catch some clips of Jim Jones and
Oh, Chrissy, Jim Jones and Chrissy.
are they married yet?
I don't know, but she proposed to him, and
She
his mama got
proposed to
mad.
him years ago, because
Yeah,
I saw that. I think that's why I saw it, because it was viral, whatever.
yeah,
She proposed
yeah,
to him, which is also that was a compromise in itself,
yeah.
okay? Because he knew what her desires were. They had
Right.
been together already for years. To my knowledge, they're still not married.
Yeah, I don't think they're married. They're probably common law married, but that's about it. They didn't actually have a whole wedding and get married. Do they even
Yeah,
have common law marriage in LA? Wait, where they live in New York? I don't know.
yeah, I think they're on the East Coast, but even with that, it's still not the same thing as a man
Mhm.
saying, "I choose you. I choose to
Right.
give you my last name. I choose to commit myself to you. I want you to be
Mhm.
my wife." That is different than, "Oh, we've been together for so long that, by default."
Yeah.
You
And a lot of
know.
a lot of people think that being married versus being in a lifelong partnership is equal. But I honestly don't agree. I don't agree with that. And I mean, I don't think the love has changed or anything like that, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. When I was married, the short time I was married, I wanted to fight for my marriage. So even when the infidelity happened, I was like, this is my husband. Like, I don't want to just walk away. I want to make sure that I've done everything I can before I walk away.
Mhm.
Um, with a boyfriend, I'm gonna be done. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like, you're
mhm.
my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Especially at this age, I'm just not for the foolery. But
Mhm.
you don't get that same. I guess you don't necessarily get that same grace as a boyfriend versus a husband because you're kind of like, you know.
Yeah, it's different. It's
Hmm.
commitment. It's
Yeah,
I'm intentionally committing to you. It's not a default thing. It's I'm intentionally choosing you. It is
right.
different. I don't, people try to downplay it. And this other thing, I think the more spiritual you are,
Hmm.
the more you put value on
Marriage.
marriage.
Yeah.
And specifically saying that, okay, because I always, if when people say that, oh, it's just a piece of paper or whatever, and it's like, okay, if it doesn't mean anything, then what's the holdup? Why not do
And why
it
not?
then?
Why
If
not
it
do
if
it?
it doesn't make any difference one way or the other, and you know that this is what your woman wants, and you're saying that you're fully committed anyway, then why not go ahead and do it? So
Yeah.
it's a very watery and weak
Hmm.
argument when people say that, especially when they say, I'm committed every day. I'm committed. That piece of paper doesn't make a difference. Well, if it doesn't make a difference, do it.
Right. Right. Y'all put your thoughts in the comments. Please don't hesitate, even if you disagree with us.
Yeah.
Please put your thoughts in the comment and let us know what your thoughts are. Again, this is us teaching each other, and we're talking about our point of view of women deciding not to be married and not have children. Um, so let's go into the not having children part. So there's a few reasonings that they listed that I want to kind of discuss on why people, and honestly, I go back and forth sometimes. When I see somebody's badass kids, I'm like, oh child, it looks exhausting. And then when like if they have like a meme, like people who don't have children be like, oh, do you want to go to Africa next weekend? I'm
Right.
like, that's me.
Right.
I'm guilty. So I like my freedom of being able to just go and
Mhm.
not having to make plans, or try to find a babysitter. And I have friends who have kids who,
Yeah.
struggle with the social life and they want to be sociable, but they can't because they have children or they're single moms or, they don't want to detach themselves from their kids. So I kind of struggle with that a little bit. But I feel like if I have my little munchkin with my husband, I'll be able to, I'm going to let my husband know whoever marries me. We gonna have I am open to having a nanny. I am.
Having a nanny.
Yes.
Don't be having just anybody over my niece or nephew. You better
I'm
get
not.
fully vet. If you are you trying to run these streets, you better vet that, but don't be just throwing my niece and nephew to
I'm
anybody.
not. I'm gonna have the background checks and everything. It might be one of our nieces too. I'll be like, oh, you gonna come to college in Howard, you also gonna be the nanny. You're gonna need some extra
Well,
coin.
let me
Uh,
say this about that real quick.
okay.
I think that because I relate to that. I relate
Uh-huh.
to the going back and forth and like, ooh, I'm used to my freedom. I would, but the reality is that we live our lives in seasons. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? There's a season where you're single and you're doing a lot of socialization. You're doing a lot. You know what I mean? And it's a different energy when you're single. It's a different
Yeah,
energy when you're in a relationship. It's a different energy when you're married. It's a different
very true.
energy when you're married with children. It's all seasons. So
Yeah.
I think that, of course, in the season that we're in, we're single and we can do what we want to do. You know what I mean? Um, but I think that if we were in another season, our mindsets would be different about it.
That's very true.
It's just like, okay, this is what, yeah, that sounds cool, but I'm also feeling good right here up under my man's arm,
Yeah,
and got the little couple little munchkins sitting there watching the movie down there with their
mhm,
snacks, and you feel satisfied because this is your life and you're
right,
happy with your life as it is. Just like right now, we could be wasting our time, crying every day because we are not married, you
right.
know, but we're like, no, this is the season I am. Yes, I desire that, but I'm enjoying,
Mm,
like you said, you're happy with your life. That doesn't mean you don't desire,
right.
to be
And I
married.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely do. I do. When I'm having moments of being home and cooking and all that stuff, I do like having that partnership and someone actually caring for me and having my back and us being able to raise a family. Because when I was engaged, like I told him once we got married, like after the first year, I wanted to start trying, and
Mhm.
I was in that mindset. Like
Yeah.
now, I would not, not with his ass, but I'm just saying, like by the grace of God, I did not get pregnant ever. But hallelujah. Um, but but yeah, so so you're right. It matters of what season you're in and where your mindset is in that
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah.
So Keandra, our niece, says, here we go. She says, "Oh baby, nah, I got a handful with just my one child."
And he is such a cutie, but he is a handful, child.
Is he a handful?
It was the last diaper I changed after not changing a diaper in years. And when I say, what do you call it, Keandra? The crocodile roll. He was crocodile rolling on me. I'm trying to get the diaper. I was like, please don't let him, just let
Oh
him
Lord,
go.
was there boo boo in the
Don't
diaper?
shoot
Was
up
there
in
boo
my
boo in the
face.
diaper? Was there boo boo in the diaper?
It wasn't even a boo-boo diaper. No,
Oh,
but
thank
it
God.
just trying to get him steady so I can clean him and put the new diaper. Girl, it was like, Lord have mercy. He is punking me right now.
Oh God, how funny. Well, Keandra, put in the comment section like, um, this is your first baby. I see you said that you ain't having no more kids, but tell me the positive things that you've encountered being a new mom. And your status changing from being single to now you have this whole human being that you have to care about. So, Keandra, just let us know, your thoughts and feelings and growth behind being a mother.
Mhm.
Um, Okay, so Monique, hey Monique. She says, I'm back and forth. My age is stopping me now. Also, I love having freedom. I go and get my kid fixed with my cousin's kids, then I'm good. So you said, I think Monique is about around my age. So you said you go back and forth and you said your age is stopping you. So elaborate a little bit more about that. Why is your age stopping you? Because you can still have children. Um, Somebody just had kids. Didn't Halle Berry had a child, what, 42 or something like that?
Janet, Hallie, and Mariah. That's what I said. That's my club right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Janet
all have their
Jackson,
children in
Halle
their
Berry,
40s.
and Mariah Carey all had children in their
Mhm.
mid to late 40s, and Janet was 50 when she had her
Yeah.
first child. And I don't know if she's gonna have any more, but
Then it was wow.
she
Wow.
was 50. She was 50.
Yeah. I
So
really do think when these doctors say, first of all, God has the last say. Let's say that right now.
mhm.
So when these doctors say, "Oh, you only have a small window of time," they're kind of going basing it off of the amount of eggs and all that stuff. But if your body, they're like she said, Jen in her 50s had a child. I feel like if you're healthy and take care of yourself and you pray about it, I think that you will get what you desire. Who was the oldest lady that just had a baby recently? She was old as shit. How old was she?
I don't know. I know a 50, like I know a 55-year-old, I think just had her. Now let me say this. This is not ideal. Like
Right.
I never planned to be in my 40s and talking about and not having children already. That
Right.
was not my plan. It's not ideal. But it is my life and my journey.
Mhm.
And could I have? Sure, I could have, but I ain't trying to be. Number one, no shade to him, but it was God's grace that I did not have children with my ex-husband. God knew that I did not want to have a divorce situation with my, because we both went through that. I did not want that for mine. So I was grateful that we didn't have children because ultimately we weren't going to be together. So
Right.
that's one thing. The other thing is that, we have to, there's it's the possibilities. And when we're talking about celebrities, it is not lost on me that a lot of these celebrities probably had froze their eggs, but when we wasn't even thinking about anything like
Mhm.
that, they have resources that the masses may not be um have their hands on or have the resources to do. So I don't know if Janet and Mariah and Halle Berry had, froze their eggs, and then when they got ready, did the doggone thing. You know what I mean? So you
Mhm.
never know. And then like Angela Bassett and her husband Courtney B. Vance, they used
Had a
a
surrogate.
surrogate. So
Mhm.
so there are options like that. I've always seen myself in a more traditional way of me getting impregnated by my husband and me carrying my child and having that child, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And it wasn't supposed to be at this age.
Right.
So I think that's where the question marks start coming in, when the more mature you get, it's like, dag, like, yeah, I wouldn't I thought I was gonna be done by this
Right.
point, and
Mhm.
that's just not how life turned out. That's not how life turned out. So
Well, the blessing
it's
part is we gonna have a lot of babysitters because everybody gonna
right.
be grown. All our nieces and nephews gonna be old enough to like Tia. Tell AJ come over here this summer. I need his help. They're gonna be our kids gonna be the youngest grandkids, the youngest nieces and nephews. They're gonna get all the Christmas gifts. They're gonna get spoiled. So we got a little bit of
Listen, exactly. Wait a minute, and let me flashback real quick. Wasn't that you and I in the bathroom struggling with Bo trying to change his diaper? That he just turned 4. We just had our nephew just turned 4, and Keandra. So we got the opposite ends of the spectrum. Keandra just turned 29. Yes, I
oh
told your
my
age.
gosh.
That's like our oldest niece. I think she's our
Mhm.
oldest niece. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just the oldest. Hmm.
she's the oldest niece, and
Yeah.
then I think I think Bo is the youngest. I think. No, Sasha, I
No,
don't know.
Sasha's the youngest because Sasha
Okay.
came after Bo. So Bo's the second
Okay.
youngest.
Bo is 4, and when he was a baby, we were all at a restaurant, and somehow Carrie and I ended up in the bathroom with Bo changing his diaper. And when I
Cuddling.
say it took both of us to do it, it took both of the aunties, the two that don't have no kids.
Oh
Oh
God.
God.
Child. Listen, when it
It
comes to
is
other
what
folks'
it is.
kids, this guy who I was dating, I actually broke up with him after he sent me to the bathroom with his child to change his child's diaper. I was like, you know what? This ain't gonna work. I'm looking me and his son is looking at each other like the hell. I was like, oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
Oh
And I'm just
wow.
holding him like, okay, we're gonna get through this. And I go back into the restaurant, I sit his son down, and we're sitting there, and I'm just over and over in my head. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't
So
do this.
why okay, so let's go to that moment.
Okay.
Was it because you were not in mommy mode, and so it was too much too fast? You weren't in mommy mode, so by the fact that he had a baby in
Yeah.
diapers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
not in mommy mode, and I was not trying to. I just got out of a relationship. That's not previously before that. I just got out of my engagement. So I'm like, I went from a Negro who didn't have no children to now I'm sitting here in the bathroom changing no, this is too much, too much too soon. And he could not understand. When I ended things, he was like, I thought we were good. I thought this is what you want. I said, I do desire to have a family eventually, but that was the icing on the cake when you sent me to the bathroom to change your child's diaper. I was
Well,
like,
good for both of y'all. You found
yeah,
out early, you know what I mean? Because he's gonna need someone that's in in that mommy
Yeah,
space, and you
yeah,
that's because he has young children,
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
gotta
And
come in the door ready.
yes, you have to come in the doorway. And like children don't scare me now, but I was just not in that mindset, child. I just was. It was a hard no at that moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Keandra said, being a mother is honestly the best thing. He's changed my life. I was being a wild one before I found out I was pregnant. It's not all rainbows and cookies. Postpartum depression is real. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said he changed your life. He saved you. Oh.
Yes. And
I've
so
yet to
so
meet the squishies, but I will be in town in March. So I want to meet him.
yes. Yes. He's a cutie. It's very
Oh.
sweet baby.
Okay, so Monique says, about time they're a teenager, I'll be in my 50s. I'm already ready to retire. Then there's medical issues. I'm like dealing with fibroids, not enough eggs, and no prospects. Okay. I mean, I understand why you would feel the way you feel, but do you, outside of that, those complications, Monique, if it wasn't for, do you still like desire to be a mother? Do you desire to have a family and have children? Is that something that you desire? Because I see that you're like, due to these complications, I don't. But again, I know that you are a woman of God for sure. So God has the last word. And if that's something you truly desire, you never know. You never know what happens. But I'm just
Mhm.
curious on what your mindset is if it's just a hard no. Um, Keandra said, I don't want any more children only because I had a very, very bad pregnancy back in 2018, which led to my miscarriage.
Mm.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you
Yeah.
went through
It's
Keandra.
it's it's there it's not black and white. Anytime
Hmm.
you see a woman who is obviously that's what, I'm working on a documentary, and
Hmm.
that's what one of the things that I've learned in this process, that when you see a woman who doesn't have children and who's unmarried, you cannot assume her story
Hmm.
or why, or how she's even thinking about it. Just like you can't, I think that's across the board. It's not just women. It's when you see people in general, like that's why we're like treasure troves. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there's so much in each one of us. There's so many layers, and it's better when we don't make assumptions about each other, or we actually take the time to, deep dive and say, hey, I want to know what's in your mind, what's in your heart. And this is just as people, you know what I mean? Because even when we're having these conversations, and even though we're sisters and we've known each other all our lives, we still are discovering things about each other, because each person is layered, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, especially with due to the traumas of what happens. Like I know a couple of girlfriends because they had like a stillborn or because they, lost a baby, that fear of pregnancy so has is still within them. And
Yeah.
so they just were like, I just don't want children, period.
Mhm.
To avoid that. And I know Maisha, I remember you telling me a story of one of your friends, a male friend, who had that
Mhm.
same type of trauma, who now that's one of their reasonings of not wanting any children.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because a man can feel the same way, because a lot of times we have kind of the stigma on men, like, they be trying to dodge the responsibility or whatever, but every man is not like that. And especially, say for instance, even if they have children, but say for instance, they only got girls and they always
Mhm,
wanted a boy. And
mhm,
and when they have the opportunity, their boy, is a miscarriage or
mhm.
a stillbirth or something like that. That's traumatic for the man as well, the father as well. And sometimes I think we don't think about the aspect of what the person that's not actually carrying the child goes through as well. And so sometimes when men are saying they don't want any, or they don't want any more, sometimes it's because of that. Now it also may be the money, I'm
Yeah,
beyond that part of my life, but sometimes they've also had a traumatic experience, and so you just can
yes,
never assume that, you know why.
very true. Very true. Okay, so Monique says, I'm okay with trying for one, but I am okay if he has kids. I'll love them like they're my own. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
well, that's good. Yeah, God might bless you with a man who got children. There's plenty of them. I'm sure he's a good father. Okay. Child, recently, well, not recently, there was a guy who I was dating, and he's an older gentleman, all
Mhm.
girls. And he was like, I was like, so do you want any more kids? And he said, yeah, I want to try for my boy. So if me and you get
Mhm.
married, like we're gonna try to, I need you to try for my boy. And I was like, that's a lot of pressure.
Right, listen, how is that supposed to happen? I don't,
I said, well, you're gonna have to pay for all the gender stuff because there's a lot of women in my family, and you got 3 girls, so more than likely is you're not gonna get your boy naturally. I'm sorry. Not gonna have me
Yeah,
stressed out.
right,
Child.
exactly, like, "Please be a boy, please be a boy,"
I know.
and,
I know.
like, that's for me, that's the other thing. I don't want any stipulations at this point in my life, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I don't want the pressure, one way or the other. I think that's what I've relieved myself of the pressure, and I don't
Mhm.
want a man bringing pressure on me either. So it
Right,
has to be a certain mindset because it's just this is how life has played out,
right.
and so yeah.
Let things happen naturally.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah. Because if someone says, um, like homeboy who had me change his child's diaper in the bathroom, child, another stipulation on what made me get out of Dodge was he did have multiple children, and this was my first time dating someone who had this many kids, and
Yeah.
also I was being more open because it's someone who I grew up with. So I was like, I know this guy's a great guy. He's a great
Yeah.
father. But I was just thinking about things past that. And I'm like, he was so fearful on everything, even like during intimacy. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
I'm going to get pregnant or whatever.
Oh,
And
he's fearful of more kid of
yes. So then I
oh.
was like, do you want any more children? And he was like, well, I'll give you one. I'll give you one. I said,
Yeah.
we're
I'm
not
in
gonna
the
do
door.
that. You're gonna tell me one out of because you decided to have 5 or 6. Like, sir, that was another reason why I was like, you know what? This ain't
Yeah.
changing diapers, and you tell me you're gonna give me one. Bye, bye. Uh, so Keandra said, I've been with my son's dad for 5 years, and we weren't put together. We weren't put together back then. We're trying to for our son. Reasons
Uh,
why I'm getting married to him in June. I want to choke him for real. Okay.
all right. Y'all
I
make sure y'all get if y'all still on that path, y'all make sure y'all get some premarital counseling, Keandra.
Yeah, please do because you don't want to get married just because you don't want to feel guilty for having another baby. Like get make you don't want to be stuck in a situation that you're not happy. You do deserve everything. Just know that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't
Yeah,
talk to you
just
on the
make
side.
sure that y'all right. Yeah, we'll have a sidebar with you, but y'all make sure
Yeah,
y'all get some premarital counseling, and
yeah,
that's the other thing, yeah, it's marriage is sacred. It's a commitment, and you just have to, make sure you're going into it for the right reasons, and
yeah.
believing that this is actually the person that you want to spend your life with.
Right,
Life.
right.
That's what marriage is supposed to be. I mean, we've been dilly-dallying and other things and saying, well, I want to. That's actually a red flag for me. If a
Yeah,
man says to me, I want to be with you for as long as I can.
you
So you're
already got it planned.
yeah, you're coming in the door basically not with that kind of firm commitment because we know that relationships are ups and downs, twists and turns. And if you're coming in the door talking this for as long as I can, but
Yeah,
they ain't talking about death. Uh,
right. It's like, then do you understand marriage and the expectations of it? We
right.
ain't
Like,
playing. Like if you trying to be a no. Yeah,
yeah.
it's it definitely is something that people should take a little bit more seriously because
Mhm.
it's you don't want to. And also, if you have had a baby or if you are pregnant, like, what are your thoughts about this, sis? Because I always hear men say, "Well, I proposed because she got pregnant," or "I married her because she got pregnant." Like,
Mhm.
I honestly, for me, if I'm with my boyfriend and I get pregnant, for instance, I would not want him proposing because I got pregnant, you know? And I understand why men do it because you're like, okay, I have a family now. This is like permanent, kind of. So let me just go ahead and seal the deal. I saw
Yeah.
this one Instagram post where this girl, she looked like she was about to pop, and he proposed to her, and it was sweet. But I would be irritated. I'd be like, can you wait until after I have the baby so I can look cute while you're doing it, or while you don't need to pose to me? Our proposal picture is going to have me with a big belly.
I I
I would.
mean, it is what it is, it is what it is. Now my thing is if we were talking marriage prior
Mhm.
to the discovery of the pregnancy, then
Yeah,
I would not have a problem with it because that was the page that we were already on and
right.
hey, we ended up
Yeah,
getting pregnant. But if it's purely because you want to be there for your child and it's not
mhm.
about you and I, that I would have a problem with that because that's when you see those relationships where it's clear that the man is in love with the kid but
Yeah,
can't stand the chick. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
and even if he's married to her, even if he's
yeah,
with her, like you could see the ones that are they just are all about that child,
yeah,
but they really the energy, the relationship with the other parent is not that great. I wouldn't want a man being with me because of the child. No.
and a
I
woman
would
can
say
tell.
no.
Yeah, I feel like a woman can tell if he is doing it for love or for the child. I mean,
Mhm.
if you're really paying attention, a woman can tell, especially if he ain't never brought up marriage, if he used to cringe about it, and all of a sudden now he's all for it. After
Mhm.
you get married. So let's go into the some of the factors on why people don't have children. Um,
Mhm.
so one of them is fear of the lack of support. They made a point where this was more obvious during the pandemic, where parents had to still work and they didn't have a daycare or anyone or anything to bring their child to. So
Mhm.
like that fear has set in of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be like stuck out and then I can't go to work and then I can't support my family and then this, that. It's like a domino effect or whatever. Uh,
Right.
so that's one of the factors. What do you think about that, sis?
I think that as a parent, one of the things that is like a skill that has to be developed, whether if you don't already have it, is troubleshooting and figuring it out. I think
Mhm.
that the best parents are the ones that they don't focus on the problems but the solutions because it's unpredictable. You never know.
Right.
You are literally in control of another person's life. It's a little person, but it's another person's life. And again, it's a seasonal thing. I'll give this quick story. I was seeing this guy,
Mhm.
and at the time, this was before I was married. This is a long time ago.
Mhm.
And I at the time, I that was in the period of time I did not want a man with kids. Like that
Mhm.
was one of my things.
Mhm.
So he had like a preteen son. Okay.
Mhm.
So I was seeing him, whatever, and I liked him. And I was trying to see how I felt about
Mhm.
the kid situation because it was a preteen, whatever. And I've always said, you have your standards or your things. And at that time, I was about the list. Okay,
Mhm.
that was
Mhm.
on my list, but I always say that that's fluid because that's independent of a real person entering in your life. When a real
Right.
person enters your life, now it's kind of like, oh, is this really important? And so
Right.
I was in that phase or whatever. And I remember that ultimately we did not end up going further, and it was, for other different reasons or whatever. Fast forward a few years, and we ended up running into each other again, and his kid is grown, about to go off to college and all that. And
Mhm.
that time went like that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, sometimes we make a bigger deal about something and not seeing that what could be the value in that situation, because the
Right.
time is going to pass either way it goes. Now
Right.
that's not why we ultimately didn't end up being together, but I'm saying that that was a factor in my mind, and I'm thinking, oh, he got a kid, da da da. But that kid was grown so quickly, and not to say
Yeah.
that grown mean grown and gone, but I'm saying that did I miss the opportunity to be a part of this amazing human being's life, to have an
Yeah.
impact on their life? Because I'm thinking, oh, I never wanted somebody with a child,
Right.
and
Right.
that was years ago. Of course, I don't think that way now. It's like
Yeah.
whatever package it comes. If the man is the right man for you, even if his package comes with 1, 2, 3 kids or whatever it is, then
Right.
if that is really your man, you're going to take the whole package and love the whole package, you
Right.
know period. It's
Yeah.
not, it won't be a struggle. It'll just be life. This is
Yeah.
life. So,
Yeah. It's part of being with him or her. Same
yeah.
thing with men, being with women.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so another reasoning is don't want the responsibility of having a child, where it's like finances or, having to come home and, just like I had explained, like I like my freedom. I'm like just being able to go. There's a lot of responsibilities on having a child. And it it
Mhm.
it, it starts the minute that you find out you're pregnant up till you're not on this earth anymore. Honestly, like I've heard
Mhm.
that you never sleep the same once you have a baby. Once you have a
Mhm.
child, your sleep changes because you're always concerned and making sure they're good. And, it's just not something you should take lightly, raising a human being. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, that's true. You know what's interesting to me when we have these type of conversations? If we um I hate to say it like this, but
Mhm.
if we were in a position where it just happened, like
Mhm.
meaning that when we were younger, or
Mhm.
when both of us were married, if we had ended up, getting pregnant and having children with our then husbands, it just would have been, it is what it is. I
Mhm.
think the older we get and the more knowledge and the more mature and the more information, we analyze and munch and crunch on that thing so much.
Yeah.
Whereas our parents was like, we got pregnant
Got pregnant. Yeah.
and we did what we had to do. Like,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
what we have now is we have time, and
Mhm.
what we do with that time is analyze. And
Mhm.
and now do I really want, or do I not? What would I do if this and that? And really,
And it's funny because people with children are like, "Child, enjoy your freedom while you have it," and then people without kids who desire kids, like, "Oh, I just really want a baby." So,
yeah,
hey, Mama
yeah.
Shavita, she put in a word. Let's see what she got.
It's covering our whole face.
She put in a whole novel. Lord, okay, let me breathe in. We as humans, we as humans are born into a fallen world that we weren't created to live in. The Father created us to exist in a beautiful, rich paradise, walking and being loved and cared for by Him. Now, in this fallen world, we have forgotten that we don't know Jack. Laugh out loud. We need the Holy Spirit to teach us how to live what real life is all about and how we were made to function. Otherwise, it's a ball of confusion, emotions, hurt, and bitterness in making decisions for our lives that we are not
Uh-oh.
might be too
You
long.
said too much, mama. It cut you off, or you hit enter by mistake.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, we already discussed that married couples are deciding not to have children. In which I've heard that as of lately, especially like kind of like the younger generation or even my generation. I know a lot of people who are decided not to have kids. But
And why
also,
is that? Why is that? Is that environmental stuff, money? What is it? What is the
I
reason
think
that
I
people are
think
doing
it's just not wanting the responsibility. I think they just, from what I understand, they want their freedom of time. And some couples decide this because it's very different. They've been through a lot trying to have a child, you know. So I know a couple of couples where her, her it's difficult for her to get pregnant. So they just are like, you know what, this is too hard on my body, so we're just not going to have kids.
Mhm.
And then some couples where they initially were like, no, we're not going to have kids. And then they changed their mind because they were like, okay, we've done all this stuff. We've had this freedom. I want to, add a baby into the mix. Um,
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Jeff has something to say. He said, we also try to prevent the pain or issues we've seen from our parents, raising kids, poor, being in loveless marriages, being miserable, but just doing it for the kids. So we are more cautious, maybe. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely a key point in terms of, like I said earlier, I could have,
Mhm.
I could even, in my first marriage, I, I did the same thing. I was like, okay, after a year, we're gonna start trying. That
Mhm.
year was so hellified that
You're
I
like,
was
"Hold
popping
on,
them pills
pause."
like candy. Them pills was getting popped like candy. If I ain't remember
Yeah.
to take nothing else, taking them pills. You know what I mean? And it's because I was like, yeah, I am not bringing children into a unsettled situation. Like I
Mhm.
could feel it. Now, of course, there came a time that I did feel settled and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm saying that it was a different timeline for me.
Mhm.
So it is, we don't, it's like we are thinking about that based on our own experiences, like, I'm not trying to
Mhm.
put my kids through that. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to put them through the struggle or the
yeah,
pain and all that unnecessarily if I can help it,
right.
So
Yeah, that definitely, him saying that playing the factor as far as what we seen when we were younger and from our parents. Because I just remember the financial struggles from mama and her always being stressed on making sure the bills are paid and the sacrifices
mhm.
she had made. And she was just always stressed out on that. And I'm like, I do not want to go through the financial stress.
Yeah.
That's why whoever I marry needs to be financially stable, periods. Like that's like a deal breaker. We're not gonna. So, anyways, also, like I was scared for a while because I didn't emotionally. I felt like didn't know if I was going to be a good mother. And this is
Mm,
before I did the healing and all that stuff. But before, I was kind of scared to have a child. So I'm like, I don't want to screw my child up. I
yeah,
don't want to. I don't want to do things to, say things to them because I had a slick mouth and I didn't have control of my emotions. I don't want to have my child go through that. And I went
yeah,
through that myself as a child. So
mhm,
I didn't want to even do that to any baby.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah, that's
And
definitely.
that's actually being I think people don't really think about sometimes though it is an unselfish
Mhm,
motivation that
mhm,
sometimes is driving that decision,
right,
whether it's a temporary decision or a permanent decision. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I know I'm jacked up, and
mhm.
I don't want to,
I
I
want
don't
that
want
for my
to
child. Yeah.
until until I'm able to get to a point where whatever, sometimes it's like it's actually a more loving decision
Mhm,
to do that, where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that to a child,
right.
and I'm going to get myself together to a point. And then the other part is that nobody is ever fully together, but you want to be together to enough of a
Yeah.
point where you feel like I'm just not going to come in wreaking havoc.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Um. So and we're going to cover this real quick because we're 6 minutes past the hour. But people still judge women who are in our status. Um, they say it's selfish or accused of not wanting kids, or they will regret their decision on not wanting kids because they'll be alone when they get older. I remember it took everything for me not to cuss this woman out, but she was old, so I was like, I'm not gonna do this. But I think I told you about this a couple of times where I went to my friend's house and I literally just ended my engagement And her mama and dad was there, and she was like, when are you gonna get married? Because her daughter's married. Her daughter married as soon as she got out of college. Like she did the Southern thing, got married to a college sweetheart, had kids, like everything. She's still married to him. God bless their marriage. But so when I go over there, her mom was like, so in this face, so when are you gonna get married and have kids? And you know my face. I had to take a pause because I was like, am I gonna say something smart or am I gonna be respectful? And I
Right,
just told her, I said, my time will come. I literally just ended an engagement, so can give me a beat. But
right,
my time will
right.
come. And I feel like the old heads really put the pressure on younger people, especially women our age, because they did get married at such a young age and they stayed with their
Mhm,
husbands forever. That a lot of the
mhm.
old heads will look at you like, what's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you mentally, spiritually? And I've had men ask me, can you not have kids? Yes, nigga, I can have kids. I'm just haven't popped out everybody's kid.
That
No,
is so inappropriate,
can you have,
though. It's
yeah, can
so
you not have kids?
inappropriate.
Or what's wrong
Y'all,
with you? Like, you seem like a great woman. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you married? Because I am a great woman. Bitch. That's why
yeah,
I'm not married yet.
that's inappropriate. It's you know what?
Yeah.
I think it's one extreme or the other. It's the people that are, so nosy and inappropriate and insensitive actually because they don't know the story or they don't,
Mhm,
or maybe they do know a little bit, but they still just be quiet. Don't, whatever.
mhm.
Then you have the other extreme, which I've experienced both, where it's kind of like there is a pronounced mute, there's a
Mhm.
pronounced silence on when you're kind of like you may be the one that's excluded because you're the one that doesn't have kids or you're the one that's not married.
Yeah.
So you're excluded from like especially when I was in corporate, that was a
Yeah.
thing. Okay,
Mhm.
and it's like, well, I'm good with that, but I
Yeah.
notice, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, I notice it. And and then like I said, it's the two extremes. I think that if you want to have a conversation with someone and kind of get their story, like well, so I mean, are you because even when I see couples that don't have kids and they've been together for a while, married for a while, then
Mhm.
I don't say, when y'all gonna pop out some babies, when y'all
Right.
have, I may
Exactly.
say, so do y'all desire to have kids? I may,
Mhm.
if I ask a question at all and it comes up naturally, do y'all desire to have kids? And
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
yeah, one day, and then that's it. We don't need no
Right.
further,
Don't dig no
no
deeper. You
further.
have no idea what they're going through. They could be going through fertility
Yeah.
treatments and everything. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, people just really need to kind of back off when it comes to that. Let people have their choices. Even people who decide they don't want to be married and not have children does not mean there's something wrong with them or they're making a bad choice. That is it's their decision. You know,
Right.
um, and just be mindful on the whys behind it. Like everybody has their own reasons of the why. I just
Hmm.
hate when I go on these dates and they're just like, you know, you're 38. Like, what's wrong with you? People assume that I'm younger because I'm not married with children. So
Hmm.
one of my castmates, even though my age is displayed on
Hmm.
when I did the show, one of them
Hmm.
literally she was like talking to me, and I realized that she was kind of talking to me like I was like inexperienced or something. She was just talking, and I was like, "You do know, like I'm 38, right? I'll be 39." She was like, "Oh, Carrie, Carrie, I thought you were like 31, 32." I was like, "No, girl. Oh, not you're almost 40." I had no she was just mortified that I was older. And I'm like, "What you so mortified for? Because I ain't got no children running behind me."
The baby face. It's the baby
It's the
face.
baby days, yes. They just cannot believe it, the child. Yes, I'm of age. So, but yeah, so yeah, it things this status, and try not to judge people who are in this status. Also, women, don't beat yourself up if you are not married. And we've talked about this before. If you're of this age and you're not married and you don't have children, like, don't beat yourself up about it. There are a lot of women in the same status, and your time will come, and whatever you desire will be there. Just think it is better to be in this status and to be in an unhappy marriage, or in a situation where you feel stuck, or you know what I mean, like you have control of your day and your life, and this is only temporary if you truly desire to be married and have kids. So that will come for you in the right time. So don't I just don't want people to give up or feel like it's not going to happen for them just because it hasn't happened for them. I have a girlfriend, she's 39, and she's just like mortified that she's not married and have children. She's like, this is not, like, she's angry about it. This is not what I planned. I did not think that I was going to be this age with no husband and no kids. I'm like, but you still have so much time. Why are you
Yeah.
so mad?
But people don't know that. I have people who are in their early 30s that have that same energy. And it's
Mhm.
like, and I try not to like downplay how people feel, because your
Yeah,
feelings are real, and I get it.
yeah,
I think that it's kind of like it does you no good though.
right.
It does you no good by getting angry about it, frustrating, all this stuff. It really does you no good. And at the end of the day, I think that the maybe more of a negative leaning energy about what your life is, you
Mhm.
might start to get in the
Mhm.
desperate zone, even subconsciously, and you
Yeah.
start making choices based on, I'm running out of time. I'm that,
Mhm.
and now you're connecting yourself with someone that you don't need to connect yourself with. You're
Right.
you're dealing with things that you shouldn't be dealing with.
Right.
You're out of this kind of desperation. And how many people do we know that had gotten desperate, ended up getting the kid, ended
Mhm.
up getting, and it's hell. It's like the even trying to co-parent with this person is
Yeah.
hell. And it's
Mhm.
like, why did you do this to yourself? Because you got into a desperate state. And that's
Right.
what I really would caution women about it. And don't allow anybody else to push you into that state too, because the culture would try to tell you something's wrong with you. Time
Mhm.
out. Oh, you're competing with all of these younger women for the same pool of men and all of that stuff.
Yep.
You know what?
Mhm.
If it is a competition, that is not the man for you.
Yes.
Because the man for you, what you will not be in any category with anyone else. There will be no competition. He
Right.
will choose you. And so it's like at the end of the day, just heal yourself inside and out. Keep yourself, together,
Mhm.
healthy. Your insides too, not just trying to
Yes.
be cute on the outside. Keep your insides healthy, ladies,
Yes. Yes.
and keep it pushing. Shoot. Like,
Mhm. Yep.
yeah.
That's a word, sis. That's a word. We receive it. We receive it.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
so just let me finish reading the comment because Mama Shabita finish what she was saying.
Okay.
And she said, we are not equipped to make, it's not in a man to know his way, signed Holy Spirit, the boss. That was the lasting part of her long novel.
Oh, of the paragraph earlier. Okay. All right, yeah.
Yes, that's the word. So,
Mhm.
so it's 15 past the hour. We're going to go ahead and end this discussion. I hope the seeds were plugged in, and that you guys received what we were saying. Thank y'all for joining us as always. Sis, will we be on as of today? Will we be on next Tuesday?
I think so, but we'll
No.
post.
We are okay. So we'll see y'all next Tuesday. If not, we'll let you guys know. But thank you for tuning in. Anyways, please
Mhm.
share this information. We're gonna try to figure out how to like make it easy for you guys to link into the live, so you won't have to like go through anything to find us. So, anyways, thank you
Well, one
guys.
thing is make sure that you're subscribed to the page, the
Yes,
YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page and the what is it? Turn on the notifications.
yes,
Notifications, it'll pop up automatically
yes,
whenever we schedule it. So, and then please, follow in like the Facebook page, and that way you'll get the notifications as well. So
yes. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a blessed night. Love you,
Yes.
sister.
Good night. Love you too, sister. Good night,
Good
y'all.
night.